I think I have at least one or two more of the Watcher, Gatekeeper, Power Generator. Yeah, no, I got one because I picked up the item that Yaak didn't like. The dude on my back, he's like, you should have destroyed it. You're gonna get yourself killed. When this thing blows up, I'm not gonna be there. I remember now. So there's, I guess I have a lot of. I should go back and level up first now that I can get this gate. Yeah, go back to Limbo. Gotta go find two more of these objects, and I'm guessing that a non-standard ending probably involves just taking those power objects. I can't remember what they're called even. Alright, I didn't get a Promethean core or whatever those things were, so I can't upgrade my weapons any further. But I can level up. Mysticism, I think, is... Yeah, it's magic damage. I can only do one level? What? Okay. I think the symbol for, like, the icon for knowledge... Actually, you know what? This whole UI is not set up correctly, is what it is. So, knowledge always says plus, but I can't spend on it. And then... These are... All the minus is always disabled. Yeah, this UI is just broken. Okay, I was trying to figure that one out. I wasn't sure if there was some weird, like, partial cost for different stats. That's not the case. It's fine. I mean, it doesn't really prevent me from playing or anything. I only reason why I pay attention to it at all is because I worked in UI for so long. Like... my stuff would get sent back. Like, I wouldn't be allowed in any of the places that I've worked at to implement a UI that does that. Hey, Kenj. Well, one of them I could have, but I would have eventually. It would have came back to me, but they would have let it go live because one of the places that I used to work at, their QA was pretty rough, and they didn't really have like code reviews or something. Is it me or is the stereo on the game? Oh no, it's just this is not stereo even when I'm in the menus. I need to see how this sounds real quick. No, I'm psyching myself out. I have so many cables that can get loose that sometimes I don't have one? Yeah, I don't. Okay. Sometimes I psych myself out thinking my audio is not right. Well, I guess I'll just get as many as I can get. I think the numbers... Oh, you have none to sell. Okay. That's fine. Pretty confident I can't upgrade any further. Well, I'm missing the materials anyways. Funny that I mentioned Darkest Dungeon earlier. You beat it recently? I wish that I was good enough to play that game. And that I was able to endure the suffering. But that game is designed to make you feel bad, and like, I get it. I understand why the game is meant to be demoralizing. It's meant to make you sad. It's meant to make you paranoid and frustrate you. Like, it's... I wouldn't fault the game for what it is, but imposing those emotions so consistently turns me off. Oh man, that's funny. the rippling of the slight rippling of the portal there makes me think the character in front of me is moving. Don't say anything in case I get there. I vaguely know what the final boss is, but I don't want to get too spoiled on it. And I only kind of looked at it to kind of... I don't know. I should not have even gotten spoiled on it. Like I should have gotten... The dude isn't even here. The dude who I thought was here. I shouldn't have gotten so put off. But Darkest Dungeon is demoralizing to play. It's a good game. It's just demoralizing. Well, it's not. I mean, other games are relentless. Oh no, that's gonna be it. So, and like XCOM can very quickly fall apart and be really rough. I fought through that. Well, I don't know. Darkest Dungeon is stressful and difficult the entire time. XCOM you eventually get a beat on. Let's try parrying this thing. You can. A big complaint with Darkest Dungeon is the RNG. Does, maybe I just got really, really bad RNG? Ooh, hello. It's too early every single time. Oop. I want to master parrying these things, way too early again. You know what? Let's kill it. Let's kill it. Did they ever address I guess they would never. They never would. Like the game is dependent on. Like Darkest Dungeon requires the RNG to be unforgiving. But I feel like every bit of ground you gain in Darkest Dungeon, they take it away from you in such a harsh way that it makes you not want to play anymore. And maybe there's just some players who just need suffering in their experience or something. You know. And I don't know, like, I play games generally wanting to gain mastery over them, or at least get to a reasonable level of proficiency. Darkest Dungeon doesn't seem to want to allow that at all. Darkest Dungeon is like, you're just waiting until the suffering is not imposed as strongly on you. It kept mashing. I tend to prefer experiences that are designed to challenge you, but not spit in your face. So I've played extremely difficult games. I can 1cc Zero Ranger with Type C, which is a hell of an accomplishment. Oh, I was wondering if there's going to be a bottomless pit or not. I can 1cc very, 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 very difficult games. I've done Primal Light, Deathless. This takes me back to where I was. I mean, this is a good shortcut, but I wanted a bit more. I can beat Lich in Gungeon, which is not really that much of an accomplishment, honestly. Gungeon sometimes will give you runs that just run away. So Gungeon is not a great example. I mean, when I was younger, I beat all three Ninja Gaiden NES games. I can 1cc Contra or Super C and without a second thought. I can no death it with a little bit of warm up. Yeah, like satisfying difficulty is just figuring out what the person wants to put up with and get through. Because, you know, an example would be if you look at Urban Orb, he was doing like level one runs of like everything, every Souls game. Well, he hated Dark Souls 2. Orb is definitely same with Peeve. Some people are very, 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 very aesthetics dependent. Oh, what am I supposed to be? I think I just go to the right then. Orb and Peeve are both very aesthetically minded. Like, Orb, I think, requires the gameplay to feel really, really, really good as well. Peeve, not so much. Peeve prefers like a much more the aesthetic and the fantasy. For me, like, I will often, if the graphics are okay and the presentation's okay, but the mechanics feel good, or they're good execution on it. Oh, I didn't really want that. That explains what these are, though. But you have no way to get back without just walking around. What am I trying to say? Some people have different parts of different games that are important to them, and different amounts of that. And difficulty is one of them, for sure. Some people want to have a hopeless struggle. Ooh, save point, so early. I think I liked Dark Souls 2's presentation overall. Part of it because it was much more readable. Like, it may not have been as stylistically rich. Sorry, I'm cracking my neck as I do this. I should have stretched before the stream. I stretched like 2 or 3 times during work, and I didn't before the stream. Anywho, if the aesthetics destroy readability, then I prefer readability, and that's where Dark Souls 2 won out over 3, especially over Bloodborne as well. Bloodborne was so focused on its presentation that they neglected readability and gameplay, and they were struggling to achieve a reasonable hierarchy of lore as well. Like, part of, for like Blasphemous kind of had this issue as well. Blasphemous was very big on it, where Blasphemous doesn't really have a hierarchy of lore. It is all distant at a tier further away from the player. And the problem with the way that the lore was set up in Blasphemous is that it didn't give you the hooks to get you to dive deeper. And Bloodborne was similar. Bloodborne sort of had an excuse in that it was like trying to go for the Eldritch presentation of like, all right, well, shit has, like, it's very difficult to understand this. This is intentionally made to be difficult to achieve meaning from. The problem, though, is that the same people who liked Bloodborne didn't like Sundered, and Sundered was kind of the other way around. The story was a bit more intelligible. Like, the presentation and the lore was a bit more intelligible. I don't think I have a key for this. I'm gonna hold on. This might end up closing or something. Sutter's lore was more intelligible. The funny thing with Sunder, though, is that the gameplay was more valid Eldritch presentation, Lovecraftian presentation, in how the gameplay worked than almost any other game I've played. It is meant to be out of your grasp. It's meant to be forcing you to, like, flee rather than try to gain full mastery over it. And people recoiled because they didn't understand that. And meanwhile, they're like, "Oh, Bloodborne's so good. The story's so vague, so mysterious." And like that sort of hypocrisy frustrates me, and that further makes me upset about Bloodborne, especially because Bloodborne sacrificed gameplay in favor of everything else, and the gameplay sacrifice made it unplayable. You know, I'm kind of thinking, I'm hoping I find a another one of those crazy orbs that tell you the world is a lie. Also, what is like? This is interesting. I kind of, you know what? I kind of feel like I know where we are now. If we are where I think we are in that big, giant, lush green overworld, then that's going to be something. Think about Lovecraft that appeals to you. It's not very in your face. I think it's possible that the further you go into gameplay that is mechanically Lovecraftian, the more people will find ways to not enjoy it. I enjoyed what they did with Sundered, and I think Sundered was kind of at the edge of like... Sundered could have very easily been the tipping point of like the way they implemented the unintelligibility of the mechanics of the combat, of like getting your way through the world. Lots of weird like blind jumps and difficult combat you don't really ever get a grasp on. Like mechanically, yes, but like you never feel like you're going to do well enough to stay in an area. You always feel like you need to keep running. You need to keep fleeing from it. And I think a lot of players didn't pick that up. They didn't realize, like, I think they wanted, like, a lot of players, when they play games, they have this sort of mastery fantasy, and it's if they don't understand what the game is trying to do, then they just assume that they're supposed to be able to get a grasp on it and always win, or always, you know, they're never forced to flee. And I think people going into Sunder didn't really understand that. What is this? Was it trying to pick me? What are you trying to do? I like that little particle effect. I know where we are. It's another shortcut. Think about Lovecraft stories that your struggle will inevitably fail. I think Sundered had made the decision. Physics particles are like one of my favorite things in games nowadays. I like that they're experimenting with them. Like the developers are experimenting a bit. Yes, flying into a game requires a good deal of finesse. I think for me, Sunder just barely did it right. Where, like, yeah, it takes an in-bolt, which is that big open area. Sundered was good about it mechanically, but I think the problem was that players weren't ready for it. Yeah, this is the same visual presentation as where you fought the stranger earlier. Yeah, Darkest Dungeon, I think, is past the threshold for me. Isn't that such a strange thing, though? Because Darkest Dungeon passed the threshold for me very quickly, and then I never felt I got a grasp on it, and I never got far enough to make any progress. But I enjoyed Sundered, that other people hated for a similar reason. I almost feel like maybe it's because I'm good enough at platformers that the threshold, like, I pass the threshold to enjoy it. I think for people who played Darkest Dungeon, maybe they enjoy these more turn-based kind of situations, and they're more tolerant of it. Maybe they feel they understand the game enough to invest in it. Maybe it's because the presentation was good enough to where they were willing to grind through it. Meeting a threshold in resource management. I feel like I never hit the point where I was able to stand my ground and even get an inch. It was literally just, wow, this is such an interesting change. So this is sort of on the way to where you go back to the big open area, but this is still themed visually like where you fought the stranger before, but it's a different area. And in fact, not just a different area, This is a fully fledged out problem to solve in order to open this up. Yeah, I understand that. I played too many hours of it to have been as bad at it as I was. It's just... I never got a hold of it. Is that Raymond? Give anything I want. I think you buy masks. Yeah, I don't remember how many I have, though. They'll buy infinite. I don't know how many I own. Strange. I wish I could see that. Yeah. Like, some of these things that are sort of more understood to be standardized along games. Like, a lot of games will not impose restrictions on how many you can sell, but will show how many you have. This game doing it different is confusing. Maybe why Sunder was more appealing, perhaps, but only to me, though. Most people hated that, and it's possible that... Well, I do... Okay, so there is a bias in players. A lot of players who are not necessarily mechanically skilled tend to be biased towards RNG games because the RNG eventually lets them win. And on top of that, like, they're trying to influence the RNG, and there's less of a skill and like less of a mechanical skill and more of a strategy to it. So that might be the difference. It's like I probably have a lot more mechanical skill than, especially, an understanding of how to manipulate RNG in my favor. And I don't have the tolerance, I think, for failing as much as somebody who favors RNG heavy games. Because I feel like people who favor RNG heavy games are willing to suffer until the game gives it to them. Like Isaac. Isaac is very much, like, or FTL. They eventually will just let you win because they'll give you something effectively unstoppable. Sunder kind of won't give you that. And I feel like the players who can't understand what the game is expecting from them, especially with Sunder, where you're supposed to run so much. You're supposed to keep moving so much with Sunder. I don't think I can get... I can maybe get up there. Nope, I know I don't want to fall either. The people who are more prefer letting RNG happen probably are going to get frustrated quicker as well with Sunder, because it is definitely like you start hitting a point where you need a level of mechanical competence even just to flee without dying. The game gets very brutal, damage gets very high, you get attacked very frequently, endless waves of enemies start showing up in certain areas. Sunder was good though. It's just the problem is that it's going to appeal to... It's going to have an unusual appeal. And I feel like they had made the call of choosing something that is going to have niche appeal. So I leveled up my magic damage, but man, I don't feel it. It still says 75 on everything. Maybe the other bolt scales and this one doesn't, but I've been using the wrong one. Maybe the little baby bolt does more. I feel like the baby one did. I don't know. Art style in this game kind of looks like a cross between Absolver and Limbo. There's a bit of Journey in there too. One thing that keeps standing out to me, even though like some of the level geometry is a little bit weird, and I feel like I can like cheat around areas. The sort of scope and the openness of the level design is interesting. It feels so open world. Yeah, the mechanics are pretty simple. I think the mechanics are definitely meant to be the substrate for. They're meant to be a substrate for exploring this world and seeing the story. And I think they probably had to pick their battles there of like implementing satisfying, remotely complex Soul-style gameplay is difficult. Like I would say most developers have not done it well. So picking their battle is a good thing. And I'm liking it, but the funny thing is normally I tend to enjoy these sorts of things for the mechanics. Like Dark Souls story is kind of meh. Dark Souls 2 story I kind of liked, but everyone kind of hated it. Dark Souls 3 story is obnoxious. Bloodborne lore I really don't like. Code Vein was interesting, but also kind of cringy. Like, I don't know. Some of Code Vein was really excellent story-wise. And the memory stuff, like the little memory what was I calling those? I had a name for the memory things, like tours. You know, it's almost like you're kind of just walking through these scenes as they tell you stuff, and especially the use of chromatic aberration in those memories in Code Vein were by far the best use of chromatic aberration I've seen in any freaking game ever. Because they did the hologram effect, and they did it real well. They did disgustingly well. It looked like you were looking at a 3D photo through a hologram. Like, you know how you used to be able to get those random ass holograms of like, I don't know, PogSat holograms on them. You know, the little piece of little card holograms you'd pick up. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Back when, like, lenticular prints were popular, they also had these holograms. And they like, Code Vein is... They nailed that effect. I have no idea where to be right now. They nailed that effect so incredibly well that I'm still blown away by it. It looks perfect. It's just so satisfying to look at that effect. Even though, like, going back to what I was initially saying, like, some of the story beats were a little bit lame, and some of the like early story stuff in Code Vein just kind of didn't go anywhere. Like the first 3 major bosses were throwaway, and the first boss track in Code Vein was terrible. It was like a bad, like, I didn't really like the ONS theme either for Dark Souls 1. But it was like having every boss be a bad version of that experience. Loud, choral, obnoxious. Can I get up here? You have like the general apathy that Dark Souls 2 had towards the player. The funny thing about Dark Souls 2, and the people didn't seem to get, and part of it is that I think it's a way of telling the story that people don't resonate with, is that, oh, there's actually... Yeah, there's wind waves here. I didn't notice that until just now. There's like specific subtle things that they do with this game you don't really see in other games that I'm noticing bit by bit. So you notice how there's waves in the wind and the grass? It's not just like individual pieces just kind of doing their own thing. There is a bit of waviness to it. It's It's a very popular effect in anime. Inuyasha loved that. They did that a good few times in a couple places, a couple of scenes. Like I think during one of the big one of the big early Sesshomaru fights. I lost track of what I was talking about. Oh, Dark Souls 2. So they tell you the story where you're basically the common hollow. You're not a significant figure. You're not the chosen one. You're somebody else who's come along and may or may not get anything done. And it's sort of like, I've said this before, where Dark Souls 1 is a story about losing sight of your goals, and it's somewhat an allegory and a metaphor for dementia. Dark Souls 2 instead is, and some of it's so deliberate too. People didn't seem to pick up on it. It's about hope and especially depression and having the means to achieve your goal, but kind of feeling the futility of it and falling short because you didn't have the will to see it through. And Dark Souls 3 is like, Dark Souls 3 is such an aggressive, apathetic presentation. I'm gonna go back to the castle thing. I think it's over here. Where Dark Souls 3 is like, they're frustrated with the cycle. Dark Souls 3 is almost like a tantrum, you know. In fact, they're basically kind of echoing like Miyazaki's done with Souls. He doesn't want to do this anymore because there are no leads coming out of this. I don't know where I'm gonna find the. I probably need 3 objects to deactivate in order to turn this thing off. And I don't see any of them in the background. Well, no, there's one over there. Never mind. How to get there, I'm not sure, but at least I see one. There's number 2. Okay, I can see these now. Or I'm not sure that's number 2 or not, because there's this object over here, and it's just a torch. It's just a light source. But Dark Souls 3 was, like, outright hostile in how apathetic and despondent it was. And people enjoyed that more than 2, where 2 was like such an amazing, like when you finally beat Vendrick in Dark Souls 2. I'm trying to figure out how to get up here. When you finally meet Vendrick in Dark Souls 2, they really sell it, because it's like you're expecting this big grand thing, you know, you're gonna meet the king, and like, you know, it's probably not, like, something is not gonna quite be right, but you're not really sure what. But it's literally the king who's taken off his armor, and he's just moping, and he's done. He's like completely tuned out from the world. He's given up. Yeah, hey Maze. It's literally like Dark Souls 3 is like, fuck this. Like, I'm not even gonna deal with the cycle anymore. I'm just gonna let it rot. And in fact, like, dropping the cycle kind of plunges the world into a worse state, because the entirety of the Soul series, I guess it's back here, the entirety of the Soul series is basically 3 major forces at play. One is order and structure, and that's basically the Lords. That's wind. There's chaos and growth, which is darkness, hollowing, whatever. And there is stillness and stagnation, which is the dragons. And people just don't freaking seem to understand this shit. And in fact, you can kind of say that Dark Souls 1, like, your basic, like, the start for Dark Souls 1 is order winning. The start of Dark Souls 2 is almost like stagnation winning. And I don't know, for 2 and 3 it's kind of hard to say, because like both of them could equally be, or could equally be said that that chaos or stagnation are winning. 2 is probably closer to chaos, but I don't know. 3 is closer to stagnation, even though the funny thing is that like you kind of present it as like dark winning because the fire is snuffed, but you're basically saying like the cycle is not broken in a way that brings anything better in Dark Souls 3. I think was the attitude of their entire game. Yeah. I want my magic back. I have the items for it. I just don't want to spend. Let's head in here and see what's up. Is that a boss? Or is that structure? Oh, I think I recognize this room. Crap. Alright, well. This is something I've seen on Twitter, so I'm gonna try to get ready for it. Can't prepare to play a game if you have a Twitter account and go in completely blind, because you will see some stuff. That's kind of a problem with me. It's like, I want to be spoiler free, but I want to follow and support a developer, like for games that I'm playing, developers and publishers or PR firms or whatever, whichever one seems to be doing well and producing cool stuff. But you may not even see a boss, or you might not remember the boss, or you might not know what the character looks like or whatever, but I remember rooms. I am easily tainted by rooms. Thought I activated it. Oh, it's probably an elevator or something. Where is it? Oh, this brings it down. This is going up. Yeah. Huh, this may not be what I thought it was. Then again, there's a lot more swords, so... Oh, here we go. Never mind. This is what I think it is. This is a legit looking room here. Yep. Oh, jeez, it's clipping and everything. Ross Samra, yeah, at their castle. Can I lock onto anything? Oh, you make stuff. Ah, you dick. Ah, you dick. Oh, luckily I do lots of... Well, I was gonna say... I do lots of damage. Crap, that hurts. I should try parrying those. Those look parryable. I can't lock onto anything. Yeah, here we go. Get parried. I can do damage, but... Oh no, I'm out of healing items. Okay, I can do this. I gotta just get my head together. I wish I had something I could lock onto though, because you get a faster... You get a better dodge if you can lock onto something. I guess I should leave the enemies alive. The little weak weedy enemies. The The golem looking dudes. Let them live. And then just walk away and then just dodge when I need to. I think there's really good iframes in that dodge too. The lock-on dodge. Oh, by the way, so I was talking about part of why I was late for the stream. Oh, hey, that wasn't translated. What did that say? Damn it. It was too short, by the way, too. Like, a lot of games have been doing that. Mortal Shell had that problem, and they somewhat fixed it. Mortal Shell, before release, especially, they would put up notifications that you couldn't fully read and then just get rid of them, and you'd be searching for the item to read stuff. Mortal Shell also had extremely, extremely small UI text. Like, all of it was too small. And you couldn't crank it up high enough. And I don't think the setting even worked anyways. Or no, I think they eventually fixed part of it working. Yeah, Kenj. That's a popular thing, like a notification log. Kenshi had one of those, but they didn't save it between sessions. Did Mortal Shell release? Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna try to skip this dude. Yeah, Mortal Shell had came out a while ago. Was there an item to pick up? No. Yeah, Mortal Shell kind of came and went. It's a little short. Doesn't have a ton of content. In fact, if I could if I could navigate the initial area better, then I would have completed it in like almost one session. Bosses are most of the bosses are pretty easy. I know I could parry those, damn it. I do not have enough time. I wish I could I wish I could see that sooner. I need to kill these things. I need to not dilly-dally too much. I do good damage to it. Come on, let me hit you. The way the arms work is pretty cool, though. Oh no! I didn't realize you could jump off! Damn it. Yeah, I did New Game Plus and Mortal Shell, but I kind of wish this area was locked to a cylinder. I wish that this boss fight was closer to the cylinder fight for Alfred in Bloodstain's Ritual of the Night. Actually, I kind of wish all the 2D areas were like that. That would feel a little bit more constructed, I think. A little more structured. Like, I like the idea of having it basically being like 2D though, and rotating around an object. Like, having the back and forth of like 2D camera and 3D, I think is a really great idea. Because like focusing the camera and making the camera more like simplified, especially for certain fights in certain areas, like if it's platforming heavy, or if there's, you know, what, like if having the sort of like 2D style interact with the background kind of aesthetic, if that works, then like that can be really cool, and I like it a lot. Like a great example of making it the entire game is Orbital Bullet, which is a new roguelite that's coming out. I don't know when. I didn't catch the release date, but I played the demo for it and it was cool. Resogun's similar, but Resogun is like one cylinder. Orbital Bullet is at least two. I wonder if there's a closer save point I can get to. I think there was. I think I'm going the long way. Also, stuff like this, I wish this was more of like a flat ramp, like over here. Yeah, this game's got a lot of like small things that aren't the biggest deal in the world. But I would love if the game had a lot of time to smooth that stuff out, because like the world is cool, the music is cool, bosses are cool. This won't take me anywhere. But I'm curious with the lore. I want to know more about the lore. The scenes are cool, like the size and the scale of everything, and the structure of the how everything is put together, how the camera as you enter certain rooms looks. Like lots of cool scenes. Like this is cool. The lead up to the boss is cool. I hope they're able to give it the attention the game deserves. It's sort of like Blasphemous, where Blasphemous, I think, is a game with a lot of cool art, and I think there's a lot of cool lore in there. But Blasphemous, Blasphemous is being held back by needing look, Blasphemous especially needs the field pass. There we go. It's one of them. Yeah, it's the last one I keep messing up. Alright, we're still in the game, it's good. Messed that one up. Oh no! Please, no more hands, no more weapons. I don't know if I can parry that or not. Ooh, okay. Can I target you? I can lock onto you. But I can't hit it with magic though. Ah, let me hit you. Yeah, there's a barrier. I can't walk up to it. Can I only parry? Oh, I can activate these things. I do not have the ability to deal with that. Crap, if I don't get this one. Oh, yeah. Alright. Well, the hammer definitely happened. I did not expect that. Keep a little bit quick. Yeah, if there are long-term post-release plans for this game, I hope they're able to do some polished stuff. I'm sure, like, after more than 5 years in development, I'm sure they had to choose at some point, like, just to get it released. And I can understand that. Like, games can't be in development forever. It becomes infinitely more expensive over time and infinitely lossy because you make less money over time. So it's like, there is a balance of, like, choosing your release date properly and not letting it drag out too long. But I absolutely hope they're able to make the small amount of changes here and there that they could make. And Duke Nukem Forever, yeah. What? So the funny thing is that, like, mechanically, Duke Nukem Forever played alright. Like, everything generally worked, the minigames were cool, good performance, whatever. The story was, like, all the story and the presentation for Duke Nukem Forever was massively outdated, though. Like, not the art and everything, because the art was clean, the art worked. Like, fidelity-wise and everything, like, it wasn't out of date in that respect. But, like, the jokes and the lore, and Duke can't exist in modern times. Like, you would have to do something like make him, like, Fat Thor from, you know, the Avengers or whatever. I need to see what attacking these things does, because it does something. No, I think I need to... I need to wait until the second phase before I can do anything with these, I think. I'm doing terrible right now. Oh, I keep forgetting they explode. Wonder if you can parry those when it attempts to stamp you. I'm mismanaging my stamina. Yeah, I think one of the hands comes out. Or something. Yeah, or something happens and... I think it's when you break these. Yeah. Looks a little frustrating. The timings are very alien to me, and some stuff comes a little quicker than you'd expect. Like, if you don't know ahead of time, I think you're pretty much guaranteed to get hit. Also, yeah, Ak is not really helping right now. He'd pop it up. I think it kind of reminds me of, like, because in the messenger, Quibble or whatever his name is, and because the messenger is meant to be more comedic, like the sort of side character showing up and making a quip is kind of all right. In this, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. Okay, that's a thing you can do. Is that repeatable? Yeah. The dog from Duck Hunt? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Yaak is probably not explicitly meant. Maybe it comes across a little better in French, where before maybe the English localization isn't quite getting it. And that's a common thing, like humor and knowing you're like changing the nature of what's said to match the audience to get the same feel across is tough. Sometimes I'm not sure if there's gonna be a third attack or not. Wow, that RNG. Too early. You have a pretty big window too. Way too late. You have to do that early. I missed my opportunity. It's like a big timing challenge to fight this boss. Yeah, oh yeah, that's it. The overlap. I needed to just focus on dodging. I don't know if you... I'm pretty confident you don't get iframes when doing a successful parry. It's another one of those things that, like, you have to balance whether or not that's a good idea, depending on the game. Character action games tend to give you invulnerability during projectile reflex. Like, God of War was really big about that. Like, God of War, that was, like, imperative for some of the challenging areas. Like, if you were playing it on the hardest difficulty, and especially the, I guess it was the Challenge of the Gods or something like that in the first game. Like... No, it would have been in the second one, because you didn't have the Golden Fleece in the first one, I think. It's... You need that stuff in order to make it work, because you basically... You use the invulnerability for parries and stuff to avoid other attacks. Too early. It's almost too late. Oh. Missed it. Too early. Way too early. Almost too late. Same attack. You rarely get the shockwave stomp twice. Yeah, they stop before they launch, but I tend to miss it. Wonder what the tell is for the big dude taking a swipe at you. Oh, okay. Kind of just happens on its own, sort of. Oh, I thought I dodged it afterwards. I didn't get it. Yeah, definitely getting a feel for the fight. I have to not be greedy. I can't just keep whacking away at those... I don't know what they are. The objects. Whatever they are. Gotta pay attention. Can't take too many risks. I gotta make sure not to get stomped in the beginning. And, should probably assign more healing items and stuff. Oop, ah. I can't undo stuff off of quick access, which kind of... I want to undo certain things that are assigned that I can't. Like, I definitely feel like the approach to how the UI was developed in this game doesn't feel like there was experience doing UI. Well, I mean, I could say that definitively. I don't know why I'm trying to mince words here. I worked on UI for 10 years, and I've worked on AAA UI for many years. The UI does not feel like it's made by somebody who is thorough and who has a lot of experience developing UI. And I kind of feel like it's... I feel like this is probably like one of the earlier projects for whoever had done a lot of that, so I can kind of understand it. And it was a very long-term project as well, and I can understand that like there's a lot to put together, and it's quite possible that whoever developed the UI was busy with a lot of other stuff as well. So it's like I can't I don't know the nature of the development, so I can't really fault them too hard. And like when you have scenes that look as cool as this, it's hard to nitpick too much. But I do want to make sure that I can do well enough to beat this boss, and it would be easier to get into a good spot if I could, for example, remove like the firefly from my hotbar, or if I could remove the hoverboard thing, or the thing that makes you go back to the thing that makes you go back to limbo. Not the end of the world. But I'm definitely in a huge rush to get as much damage to this thing done as possible so I can get back to iterating from where I left off. So, to some degree, I kind of want to I want to rush through this, and I kind of feel the need to get greedy. Oh, okay, that's a new attack. I'm sitting there looking to the right. That's, again... Yeah, okay, I gotta pay attention to that. I gotta look for that. I'm looking for the ghost one that just randomly attacks you. Didn't let me... Didn't get the parry off on it. Okay. Yeah, that shadow one I'm looking for. The regular one coming from the other side I'm not ready for. What did I actually do? Are you stunned? Oh, I can... Oh, chains. Oh, no. Oh, it ported me back. Okay, I did a couple hits on it. Oh, I gotta be careful. Faster. Those are faster too, yeah. And he's starting to combine attacks. From the other side now. Wait, can I get in? I think I've taken out... Oh no, I missed my opportunity because the attacks were there. Hopefully I can reflect a projectile or something. Damn you. come on! Damn it. I screwed up one and it juggled me. I should have waited for the fourth one. I got greedy. I should have just bailed. That's not... There's a bug. I used a lot of healing for that too, which kind of screws me. Yeah, now I have very minimal healing to do this. And I can't easily make more. That's kind of the disadvantage that you have with using consumable healing. That's the Mega Elixir problem. It's like, you use a Mega Elixir, but it doesn't win you the fight. Or you use a Mega Elixir and you can't get any more back. Tricky problems. And like, I'd probably be better served by looking for another one of those Prometheus core things, or whatever they're called, and getting the next few upgrades for my weapon. Too early. I have to avoid healing for a bit. Ah, I thought I'd had a wide enough hit for that. Guess not. Out of stamina. Oh. Doing better, at least. Where's your, is this down now? Yeah, here we go. Oh, that was all I had to do? I just needed to be super aggro. Yeah. Segment of the Crucible, good. And Rasmara's Essence. Demiurge slain. Okay, so this is the first Demiurge then, and there's like supposedly like 12 of these things. I may not be fighting 12. So the Crucible segments, I need those for... That will allow me to upgrade a weapon some more, and I've got plenty enough damage, so... One Demiurge down. Okay, once I got a feel for it, it wasn't that tricky. It's just you gotta be on point with your parries and your dodges, and you have to absolutely beast mode it when you can. Part of the reason why that was such a strange enemy is that was one of the ones that was one of the weird creatures that invaded. Those demiurges are not part of your world. They're part of the ones that went and killed the king, or somehow dismembered, removed something the king. Yeah, it should be right over here. Oh, one other thing that would be good that they could do, which is really good for camera changes. Oh, you know what? Let me save first. I hope that enemy doesn't attack. One thing that would be really good as well is whenever the camera changes, I'm holding down. If I continue to hold down, it walks me off the ledge, or it tries to. Now, I don't know how much ability you have to jump off the ledges, and maybe it's fine. Some areas, I think you do have the ability to just run right off. And that was a problem in Castlevania Lords of Shadow. They would do camera changes like this. They would actually do snapping ones, too. They would just snap you straight from one ankle to the next in like a frame. Mid-jump, by the way. So you'd be doing this sort of thing, and it would turn your camera over. So like that. And you would jump off of ledges in Lords of Shadow. And Lords of Shadow was missing something that like Final Fantasy VII and stuff did. Where if you do a sudden camera change and the player is holding like left or right or whatever it is. So let's say, for example, the camera changes and I'm holding down, right? Like I'm holding down. Rather than forcing me to turn with the camera, as the camera is changing, they translate your movement. So down from this perspective would automatically become, if I'm still holding down, it would stay to the left like this as the camera turns until you let off the stick, and then you move again, and then down goes like this again. And I don't know what you actually have to do code-wise to do that. Maybe you're just basically saying, like, if you record, like, during the, like, you basically would have to say something like, the camera angle, the camera change is an event, and they translate relative to the initiation of that event and they save that until you until you significantly change your direction. Like if you have enough of a delta for the angle you're in, then it just says, okay, well at that point, obey the player rather than their last input. Randolph, what you could do as well is basically say, ignore the translation of input relative to the view frustum or something. I don't know. It's you could do it different ways. I mean, anything can work. So like as the frustum moves, then you basically turn off until the player's input. Until their input angle changes significantly, don't update what it controls relative to the view frustum. Yeah, there's any number of ways you can do it. Alright, this is not the right one. I'm looking for the other one. Looking for this one. I don't know what the most common, like, preferred way is to handle that control change. I just know some games do it and some games don't, and it's important to do it when you have like potentially risky platforming and stuff. I don't even know if I had the materials to do this upgrade. I mean, I have the whatever, the up to 6. I had 2 of these up to 8. Huh. That's going away really quickly. Yeah, now it says. Okay, whatever. I need more. I think I need regular Hadronite. I'm not sure. Whatever the one that's like looks like 2 pieces. Oh, wait, you don't sell it, though. Something seems to something the very structure that you have new dialogue. You didn't tell. Similar to what happens to me when my friends disappeared, but on a planetary scale. Someone or something is in mourning. I can't help but partake in this diffuse suffering. The loss of the demiurge. Shit, I missed some of the story. Can you not feel it? You must be stronger than me. I sometimes feel somewhat too responsive to the fluctuations in the world, because you're connected to it, you're chained to it. I think I'm out of, yeah. Oh, you actually sell some again. You sell some new stuff. Refined Hadronite, that's what I need. Randolph, well, that starts to deviate away from what the game engine actually does and more towards the game logic. That's that can be a blurry line anyways. Like, gameplay code and engine code. I've worked for people who have been very, very adamant about declaring that there is a significant divide between those two. Upgrade again, upgrade again. Oh, I'm out of... I'm out of refined Hadronite. But on a base level, I would agree, yeah. I would say the default behavior is to just match the view every frame of just like, if I'm holding the right and I turn the camera, then just continue to do it relative to the camera. Where if it wasn't, then it would basically do something like this, where like your character is like, it would be like if I'm not moving the stick but still doing the same thing. I wonder if I can forge refined Hadronite, or craft it. Shouldn't have spent all of that tasty essence if I can make it. I feel like I can. Wait. No, I don't seem to be able to, no. Why is that still making noise? I think something got stuck. Hold on. Oh no. Okay. Rather than... Let me quit to the main menu again. Yeah. And then... I hope I didn't lose a lot of progress on upgrades and stuff. One of the games that I worked on... I'm trying to word this without sounding too much like an asshole. But... one of the games that I worked on... Oh no. What's my weapon level at? It's 5. Oh, okay, you know what it is? It always puts you back at the checkpoint, even if you've spent money. I bet you I have a lot of upgrade, or a lot of healing stuff still. That I bought, good enough. Good enough. Maybe I can get that dialogue again, and not skip the first part of it. Okay, so for one of the games that I worked on, for the longest time I was the only person doing UI on it, and then they brought somebody else, and that person kind of didn't know what they were doing, and by kind of, he was incompetent moron. But he was very focused on developing event-based UI structures, And in a lot of ways, UI should be at its core a state machine, because events need to derive, like, if you have too much focus on driving your UI with events, then you end up getting stuck trying to figure out how to resolve combination states that are represented in events rather than states. Like, rather than saying here's the sum of all of the UI and everything you have to pay attention to and reacting to portions of that at a time, but being able to access the aggregate whenever you need. Instead, you're basically saying, all right, well, where did I leave off, and where did I live off beforehand, and where was everything else at some point? Like, you have no way to reference the information you need in order to make a decision UI-wise. And when you start doing things like UI animations and waiting on sounds and stuff and having loops for music or whatever, you quickly realize you need a state machine at its core in order to drive events. And some stuff is just reflected off of the state. Like, for example, like when health updates, for example, like jumping the bar right away is kind of state-based. Having the shadow for the health, so this is stamina in this case. Having the shadow, though, is more like an event that you launch. And notice how there's a couple different ways you can do it. Like, one is basically saying you have an amount. Like, it depends. Like, if the shadow moves at a constant pace, then what you can do is say, you could say the shadow drains at a certain speed, and then it's still state-based. And you just you look at how much you have left, and you keep counting down every frame. But in other games, like, for example, certain character acting games, certain fighting games will basically say they want to show how much you did at one moment, and they'll draw the shadow and then have it fall off of the bar visually. Like, it'll appear and then move down and fade out, so you can see those chunks piece by piece. Those are better handled by kicking off like an event that cleans itself up at the end. But the person that I worked with back then on that one game that I worked on didn't give a shit and thought everything needed to be coming off of events. And that was stupid as shit. Yeah, no more. Oh, I missed it. I had to miss the dialogue. Ooh, whoops. Sorry, invading your personal space. Actually, you know what? Oh, no, never mind. I'm not. I thought I got inside this thing like I was going to be like a Chozo statue or something. It was gonna like they were gonna, like, I was gonna turn into a ball and they were gonna get up and then walk through spikes and then let me out. Space pirate ship references. Yeah, junk collector. There's just it's so like I get very frustrated when people can't see that there are certain solutions that are kind of imperative via the desire for how they function, and other ones that are like, if you're willing to open your mind, you can figure something out that's clever, that works very well, that reduces a lot of suffering. It is very forward thinking. And that person who wanted to make their UI so event driven cost months and months of development time trying to fix that shit. And I ended up gutting out a lot of it when I was working on it, just to... This is not at my current place. This is ages ago. This is like 8 years ago plus, probably. 6 to 8, somewhere in that range. But, I should talk to Yaak and see what he has to say. But that person, frustrated the hell out of me, because they clearly had no clue what they were doing. And in fact, I spent a lot of time cleaning up their mess, and that ate into the time to do my own work. And that created other problems because the person who ran that company didn't know what they were doing, and thought that the person whose messes I was cleaning up was actually doing shit properly. And that created a whole bunch of problems. Still lost? Would you like to hear Hypnosis story once more? I would like to power up for Ibon fragments, maybe. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I actually don't want to do that, and the reason why? I'd be ditching story opportunities to level up. Never mind. Now I know what those are, because I know what those are for now. I don't want to spend that. I think I got a key for one of these. Not this one. You started with all object-oriented and state-based, but you've been moving towards functional and event-driven for different things. Yeah, like, it just depends. I mean, some, like, my chatbot is very event-oriented because a lot of the overarching behavior of, like, the libraries is dependent on are all event-driven. But, like, some of the logic that doesn't respond to events and instead does its own work for my chatbot is more like state-based. It's evaluating things every frame and evaluating like a lot of different conditions all at once. You think some people have a hard time switching between different conceptual approaches? I would say it's more than just that. I would say that some people are not necessarily meant to be programming. And like they have a mind that will overcomplicate things. And some of it is because they're not aware of what concepts exist in order to pick the most valid one. Where's the other doorway? I keep skipping this. Some people are not aware of the approaches that could better serve what they're trying to do. Okay, so there's one over there. Let me try this one again. I think this is the one I tried a second ago. Yeah, let me try the other one. Some people don't know, and other people can't process that knowledge and make a good decision off of it. Oh, that wasn't a door. Yeah, it might have only been just the one door. I bet maybe I'll get that key very late. You're not, I think a lot of people struggle with it for sure, Jtron. Also, hey. I think my biggest barriers are really two things. One absolutely is like confidence. I tend to underestimate what I can do because a lot of the stuff is a lot less complex than I make it out to be. Second is there's a lot of knowledge I don't have, and that would make a lot of my life a lot quicker and a lot simpler. Some stuff's super simple, like I need to learn Git. I need to learn how to do GitHub repositories. I learned CBS, SVN, and Perforce. I never learned Git. But there's other stuff. I need to be more comfortable working with other people's libraries. I need to get a better feel for how OAuth works. Stuff like that. I need to get a better feel for how the Twitch API works overall. I find it frustrating and clunky. I need to learn how WebSockets work. I'm trying to think where I would go next. Do I use a common engine most of the time? The place that I worked at... Well, how many engines have I touched? 3 or 4 major ones so far. Can't talk too much about... Well, talking about some of what I've worked on would just flat out spoil where I work. But Unity has come up, and I've worked on Unity a bit. I've worked on Unity probably the least out of all the other engines I've worked on. I definitely didn't really do much here, but I don't think I could either. I feel like going back here probably is gonna... That was where the Demiurge was. I think the engine I want to learn next is going to be either Godot, which I'm not too happy about because I want to use C#, or GameMaker because it's very popular and apparently simple enough. You know what? This is not right. There's got to be another... Oh, there is, but it's past this dude, I think. Godot, I think, might be a good language for making 2D stuff. And I don't think I have enough ideas that I think would satisfy me to make a 3D game anyways. I'm thinking about, you opened the tutorial tonight, but wound up eating cheese and watching Twitch. Story of my life. I don't necessarily think 3D is overrated. I think people have not worked with 3D enough. This is not where I want to be either. What's the language behind Godot? It's their own language for the most part that is reminiscent of Python. Where am I going then? Where do I want to be here? GameMaker has its own language as well, I believe. Although a friend of mine wrote a plugin library. I'm not really sure in that case to where you can use Lua, but I also can't fucking stand Lua. Like I know why Lua. I know the advantages that Lua offers. Here, or wait. Yeah, I gotta go here. No, that takes you back. Ah. But there is a save point over here or something. Ooh, that is... I should not have done this. Well, we're here. It got me where I wanted to be, but I didn't. I should have done it that way. I only jumped because... I don't even know if I'm supposed to do that. I only jumped because of the glowy pillar from the save point. Godot supports C#. It's pretty solid for 2D. My understanding about Godot, though, is that their C# implementation is a work in progress, and I thought they were trying to kickstart it or something. I used Lua a bit mostly for the UI for one of the games that I worked on. They started with a language that was not Lua. They started with a language that was basically a simple open source expression evaluator that was very similar to using. So the structure for their UI was basically XML. It was set up very much like HTML, and the sort of scripting language was this expression evaluator, and it was basically like JavaScript, but if JavaScript was TA83 basic, you know, like it was pretty jank. Need for a throne. Have I? I've been. I don't know if I've been here before. I think I skipped this. I think I wanted to go somewhere else. Oh, whoops! I didn't mean to use this. Different spell. Well, I guess while we've got it out, I'll just. Yeah. But Lua was basically the upgrade to have at least a basic functioning programming language to drive the UI for one of the games that I worked on back in the day. Problem that I have with Lua, though, is that there were way too many demands for that UI, and Lua does not really do object-oriented programming very well. They're not real objects, it's tables, it's all fake shit. Swing so quickly. Stop. Ah, I hate you. Now I had to go back, you masher, R1 spammer. Put your freaking dark sword away, spammer. Always struggle with Lua, but never figured out why. You take a quick look at some stuff, but couldn't commit to do anything big. It's not meant to do big things. It's meant to be like small things very fast that don't require you to like it's meant to basically give you an interpreted language that's, well, with the exception of Lua JIT or whatever, but it's meant to do things very, very quickly and not require you to recompile things. It's not meant to do big things. It's not good at it. Now, games like Don't Starve use Lua for their gameplay logic, but what Don't Starve does, and you can check, like you can just like when you install the game, you can just look at the Lua. You just dig into the files. What is this? Graceful Essence. More Graceful Essence. Also Graceful Essence. Okay. Is that all that was? But yeah, so Don't Starve uses Lua. They use it to drive a lot of their gameplay logic. But come on, man, just let me out. Let me leave. Spammers. Don't Starve basically fakes having an object-oriented programming language. They have classes, they have libraries that basically say they fake having like inheritance and stuff, and it's like proper instantiation of objects. Because Lua doesn't really offer that, not on its own. I mean, what Don't Starve does is pretty clever and it makes it work, but it's like, this is shit that Lua should have had from the start, but I could sort of understand why Lua doesn't, because Lua is focused on being fast. It's not as fast as, like, just compiling your own C++, whatever, but it's faster than many other interpreted languages, especially for how robust it more or less is. Sounds like how JavaScript used to fake classes until, like, ECMA 6. I think, aren't they still, like, not especially great at it? Like, I mean, well, I don't know. What, like, okay, so stuff in JavaScript bothers me, like, having to, like, function binding. You have projectiles, you dick, you stop. Yeah, these are elite guard dudes. These aren't, no wonder they're such spammers. They're not regular dudes. They're meant to be the elite guard for the throne. But yeah, I think it's possible that it just there isn't like a great robust IDE for JavaScript, and I also don't like how JavaScript is not. It doesn't use strict typing. Not that like I don't know. Not that like other ECMA 6 variants do the same. I mean, like TypeScript, for example, I don't think it's explicitly strict. I think you can hint it, and well, I mean, ActionScript 3 sort of. I mean, you can, but it's not real. It's still it's not strict. Like, you could still get around it. And they have actual classes and inheritance. Yeah, I mean, it's better, but it's not like as robust as like C# or something. I don't know. I mean, in my head, I just want, like, based on my experience so far with C#, I want everything to be C#. Oh, NPC. Hold on. Yeah, I know C# isn't as fast, and I know C# is delight. Like, it isn't. You can't be aggressive with memory, man. Like, you can't do like really. Did I miss you before? I think I warped out and didn't realize you were here. You can't manipulate memory in the same way that like C does, or C++. But it's plenty good enough. I'm satisfied with C#. Hello, Silence, my friend. I've been visited by a breath of peace for some time now. Have I ever told you who I was before the Great Rift? Would you like to know? Yeah. I studied martial music. You were a bard? I wrote melodies that would put those who listened to it into a frenetic trance. They barely felt any pain, and their bodies would speak for them. No matter if they danced, raced, or fought, they had to perform to the highest of their ability and to the very last note. An enchantment you had to see, and hear, of course. Well, I mean, Junk Collector, I can kind of understand the uses for it, especially if you're working on a small project and you're working very fast and you're working on your own. But like the larger a project gets and the more people who are working on it, I feel like it starts to fall apart. And for me, it's like I might be working on a project and then not come back to it for weeks or months. And I want to leave the information that I need in order to keep going. Like I want to leave. I don't want to have to like document and comment everything so strictly when things can be a bit more self-documenting just by having, you know, strict typing and stuff. I was proud of my work and even attracted Jurgen's interest. I thought I was on the side of good. Then came the rage, treason, and uprising. I never picked a side, you know, because to me, this inner rift was absolutely senseless. I was friends with people on both sides, and more than anything, feared to see them fight. You don't know what I'm talking about? I apologize. You will, soon. Nevertheless, some of my friends stole my work and used it to fight their adversaries. I was filled with heart-wrenching sadness at the time. Today, however, I understand their anger towards me and the reasons for their actions. It's too late now, but I am at peace. May we meet again, Silence, my friend. Your presence brings me peace. See you later. A friend of mine was way more supporter than I would be of having dynamic typing. But he also is like way more on the ball, way more able to keep his head together when working on large projects and large swaths of code at a time. And he was also working on a lot of stuff more or less on his own or in small groups. Yeah, it's Randolph. You pretty much got it. Yeah, I would very much like to be told to know ahead of time if there's something wrong, rather than let it fail very late. Like, I prefer compiler errors if I could get them. Like, if a decision I'm making and how I'm building something will give me compiler errors rather than runtime errors, I want compiler errors. I mean, I would hope everyone does, because then your shit works or breaks sooner, and you don't have to think about it as much. I mean, there is flexibility from dynamic typing, you know, depending on what you're working on, but there's, I mean, overrides and shit exist too. I mean, you have to account for every single one rather than just, you know, blindly looking at it. And then, you know, making and double checking your assumptions if you need. I don't know. It's not that dynamic typing doesn't have a place. It just doesn't work for me. Yeah. I figured you might be mentioning that at some point, Randolph. Every time I come across the usage of that, I feel bad. I feel like I don't want to use it. Oh man, I killed the demiurge and then what? There's supposed to be like 12 of these things. Oh shit, I can go talk to Commander dude. The commander might be able to tell me what they want. I killed a demiurge. Give me some story. Give me some direction. But yeah, I like my programs to be predictable and consistent. You know, that means I have to put some extra work to add flexibility, then I'm fine with it. I don't think I'm next to... I don't think I'm next to one of those painting gate things. Portals. I don't know what they are. I think of them like Mario 64 paintings. But they're not. I think I need to be... here. So this is the area that I keep getting back to, that I feel like, I feel very much like I've, so many areas more than you would expect end up connecting here. I had never heard it described as design by contractor, program by contract. Like, the... It's funny because I've 99% of what I know, like programming, design wise, whatever, it's all self taught. So I tend to learn a lot of concepts, and I never learned them in any formal manner. So I never learned the terms for a lot of this stuff. Like, I didn't even go to college. I just, a lot of the stuff was hobby that fell bass backwards into employment. Okay, yeah. Ace won't help me yet. Okay, the commander dude, I can't remember what their official term was, but there you are. I killed a demiurge. Oh man, come on. That's funny. I've heard of duck typing, but I've never heard it explained. But I've definitely made those. I've implemented those checks before. Yeah, I'm extremely behind on like actual terms for things. I just get stuck solving problems and figure it out or find an example. But lots and lots of stuff I never really learned terms wise. Is this open? I know I've been eyeballing this thing for a while. Yeah, I don't know what this does. Well, I think actually it's really just about what part of the duck do you need, and does a mongoose have the same features or functionality. You're not really confirming that it's a duck per se. You're confirming that you have something that, according to a very vague description, is a duck. Does it make noise, and does it have legs? It's a duck. It's duck enough. Yeah. Depending on the circumstances, you could have a human count as a duck, depending on what kind of quack you want. Oh man, I need to figure out what major landmark, what area I want to go to next, and even what counts as a landmark or a major area. All I know so far is I've killed one demiurge and I didn't get any items out of it. Yeah, somewhere down the line you will get to a basic type, and those types start to become strict at some point. Like, or at the very least you can check to see that it is. Like, for example, everything ECMA script, everything technically will be an object at some point, but you can confirm, like, does it eventually come down to being a valid integer, float, whatever. Like, at some point you can make a functional enough comparison to determine if the data is correct. So even when languages are dynamically typed, you will eventually hit a point where you can confirm that something is in the format that you like. It requires a lot more work because you could throw anything anywhere, and it's up to whatever receives it to decide that that's right or not. Even like my chatbot, even though technically it's type strict, all chat coming in, all chat events, it's all strings. So you have to do like in32.try parse and hope you get hope that it successfully parses, and then you check the out from there. So, for example, like I want somebody to type a random number. I need to give at least one integer and maybe two, depending on how many elements come in the array after you try to split the string. Assuming that you find the token for splitting the string in the first place. Otherwise, you just use the string, which luckily when you try to split, it'll give you one if the string is not empty, anyways. So then you also have to do check like is null or empty on the string, because you know what I mean, like just shit like that. And then some languages are like, I probably don't need to be here. Some languages are like, no error, that means success. Like Linux is very much like that overall. Not that that's a language, but like Linux is like, no output, no problem. I hate that shit. Or Twitch's API is like, What if Twitch does something I didn't like? I think it does error. It doesn't do error null. It does error empty string or something. Crap. I'm already back to this spot again. This is such a big area for having only had the Praetorian Guard guy as the boss. Like, there are so many areas in this game that are like this. These giant mazy areas that are like cool to look at. They're great scenes. But sometimes I feel like they could put more stuff there, and I'd totally be fine with it. And I never know if I'm navigating. I mean, this game kind of disregards the concept of like being on the right path. However you get there, it seems to be accepted, and they account for that, and that's kind of cool, because a lot of games want a very linear path, and they make the path boring as a result. Ooh. What could this be? Oh yeah, parsing, depending on what you're parsing, null checks in JavaScript. Especially like parsing like data from the Twitch API. There's no, I mean, if you're drilling down far enough into JSON output, for example, it's like you're stuck. Just a big giant series of nested null checks. Unless you want to just bullshit and say, like, I don't even remember if JavaScript, if modern JavaScript has like any sort of try-catch behavior. Because what you could just say is like just make a bunch of assumptions that this is going to work and just wrap the entire chunk in try-catch. And like, if you get an error, then just assume it's all garbage. And that reduces the amount of work that you have to do while still making sure that you don't get stuck in an error you can't recover from. I know there's some stuff that I'm not too clear on with like recent. I don't even know if it made it into recent JavaScript on any modern browser, but I know like ECMA scripts. I know they there's some simpler stuff like adding let and stuff rather than just var. But did they ever like are promises? The concept of promises, is that in modern JavaScript at this point? Like do most browsers support promises? I never learned how promises worked because I didn't think anything supported it. So I was like, I've already dipped into enough shit, like CSS wise, that isn't supported by. So Chrome supports SVG gradients. The Chromium used in OBS doesn't, and I just bounced into that recently. Standard promises in ECMA 6. What version of JavaScript is that? And does... Man, I'm still looking for items or anything I can do here. Do modern browsers support that? Like, does modern shit... Well, I guess it doesn't matter if it's Edge anymore, because Edge is using Chromium. They dropped their own render. Just like WebKit and... WebKit and Chromium and Mozilla now. Are they in modern JavaScript? I haven't been here before. I need to kill this dude, this fucking spammer. Get your dark sword out of here. Superior Essence. Oh my god, both of them are here. I don't know how to parry you. Whoa, that had no wind up. Well, all the modern browsers use 6. Okay. Yeah, 6 is the one that I thought all of what I thought is new existed in, and I didn't know if anything later existed. So I was going to assume that 6 is where promises exist. Oh, I don't have the... Okay, so there's got to be a key around here somewhere, then. I have no idea which key it is. Thought he was going to rush me. I wonder if there's a reasonable changelog or significant feature list for the last few major versions of ECMA script. Because I know I'm behind. I am so behind on like modern web stuff. Well, with the exception of the couple cases where I'm so far ahead that they don't even support it. Well, I found a couple essences so far. Oh, this is actually rotating. I'm coming with it. It's on the other side. So there's more to explore here. Rocket functions. Kind of sounds very like Lambda. Rocket function. Why would they? Okay. Is that really what it is, though? Because don't anonymous functions already kind of exist in JavaScript? Well, lambdas do. No, both do. Maybe I don't understand what you're referring to then. I don't know what rocket functions are then. Okay, spammer, stop spamming. Now it's broken in, it's using that symbol. Oh no, do you have to type that though? What? I don't know what the symbol is for that. That's not on a regular keyboard. Hopefully it's just like equal, greater than symbol. Which like other... Oh, so it is equal greater than, okay. Because that's what like I've seen before and used before. I don't think I've used it in JavaScript though. I think I use it in some other language. PHP maybe? It's been so long. I haven't written PHP in forever. Last bit of PHP I did was the smallest shit in order to support the redirects for my, because I didn't want to do htaccess related garbage. Because I don't understand htaccess very well. htaccess is less understandable to me than regular expressions. Oh, dude, yeah, junk collector, that's why I can't stand jQuery. jQuery is like, we offer much of the same functionality, we just offer it in a much more obfuscated, smaller, more condensed form. And you need a giant library to use it. It's like, I want my website to load in 50K or less. Right now it's like 45 or something. My website was designed to load successfully on an edge connection, 2G. I don't know if I should be back here or not. Like, I'm trying to see if there's any items I missed or any way to get to those gates. But they may not connect to this area. Like, they may be coming in from somewhere else. Like, for me, if you need something complex to be shrunk down and it's big enough, I mean, that's what functions are for. I mean, making extremely small syntax just means that the language becomes more alien and harder for new people to come in and digest it. And that kind of goes back to, like, one of the people I worked with would do things like alias MySQL query to MQ, and it was a 1-for-1 wrapper for MySQL query, and all that meant is that anybody coming in who do basic PHP would be put off by that bullshit. That kind of mentality is also why I don't like working on website stuff. I don't like working on web code because everyone wants to wrap and overcomplicate and obfuscate things. And everyone, rather than writing simple... Oh, I could have gotten there. Rather than writing simple JavaScript, people are grabbing all these libraries and making it overcomplicated. For simple shit, too. More about how fast it is to write than how readable it is. Like, I can understand you can do big things with smaller pieces. Small amount of code written. It's just... Oh my god, there was a save point. The thing that kills me, though, is just... the projects that people tend to use these on are too small for it to be important. Yeah, that's the second one of these. It's another shortcut. Yeah, like considering I've been working with high resolution monitors so I can see more of the screen at once, I'm not significantly limited by the speed at which I read, and I'm definitely not limited by the speed at which I write code, so I'm just not... There's no benefit for me by shrinking this shit down into oblivion. I should have stayed up there. I'm trying to find more of those gates. The ones like the one-way gates. Usually it's really easy if you can get above them to get in. You'll say moving to from C++ to Java saved you a ton of typing because the header files are redundant with CPP. I've never heard anybody say that they preferred, that Java has been preferred above any other language for any reason besides portability. For everybody that I've worked with who said anything about Java, it's usually it runs like shit and it's obnoxious to write. And then, you know, Oracle. What did Oracle do recently regarding Java? Off of this ledge somewhere. Here. Oracle, it does something like you need a license now for modern Java or something, or the SDK costs money or something past a certain point. Java's actually very performant now. Is it because we all have better hardware now, or does it actually run well? Or maybe superior hadronite. I don't think I have a use for this, though. Remember those IBON fragments? I don't think I need one for this, though. Do I? No. Maybe everyone uses OpenJRE. I don't have time. I don't have time for the time comes. Hold on, I need to see if I'm getting hit. What is this noise? Alright, it's not me. Okay. Runs faster than any other interpreted language. Huh. I don't know. I mean, I'm so far out of date with a lot of... most of the languages that I haven't touched, which are most languages nowadays. Like, I'm out of date with PHP, I'm out of date with JavaScript, I'm out of date with Java, which I've not touched. I've touched, like, 15 minutes of Python. Lua, I'm sure, is different now. Please stop begging! I don't have time for the time comes. Not done. Barely started. Could have been one of the greatest logicians. Would have been one of the best. The Decahedron had already called me researcher. I had even met a soul aligned with mine, near the fountain, under the stars. The future seemed bright. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the end doesn't come so that I may get the opportunity to fill all the possibilities that sparkled around me. But I have weighed those possibilities. There are too many, and the others too strong. The storms of wrath too loud. Oh, are you done? You done banging now? No, you're not. Okay. There will be no tomorrow. Cesium, incomplete, entry 12. Who is banging? Who's doing this? It's not my upstairs neighbors this time. You think it looks the same? JVM's improved a lot. Well, I will admit I've not touched Java at all. I've just heard bad things about it. Though I will say this though, isn't like Android and stuff all in Java? So if Android is using it for phones, it's got to be okay. Went back to C++ recently, couldn't follow it at all. It changed so much. I have not written enough complex C++ to know where it becomes a problem, like where the changes have made things too different. Most of what I write isn't especially complex C++ wise. Most of what I've written has been like fixing like changes, small additions and changes to gameplay code and similar for UI for games that I've worked on. Nothing like incredibly major. Like I haven't written an engine from scratch or whatever. Most of what I've done would qualify more along like technical designer kind of work. For C++ anyways. PHP I've gone super deep into. Lua I've been upset having to do so much work with. Written a bunch of JavaScript, but never got super deep because I can't stand jQuery and I don't want to have to learn React and Node.js and all this other stuff. I'm biased. I'm biased in a way that I shouldn't be against having to deal with all that stuff. And then doing things like TypeScript and then having to compile TypeScript and not being able to figure out everything I need for that because I just don't have time. Like for example, the JavaScript Twitch lib library, I believe is in TypeScript, but I couldn't figure out how to work it. I didn't have enough time to look into like what I needed to get to build that. Because it's not like you just, you know, okay, open up the solution in Visual Studio and build it or whatever. Or there's like a make file somewhere. It's something else and I have no clue what it is. And like I'm too busy doing like my regular paid work and like video editing and shit. And the stuff I do to maintain the stream to learn something new at this point. Man, I really don't know what's going on. Okay, this area, I've probably completely conquered this area with the exception of whatever I need to get in from some other location. Then I say that, but I'm finding more stuff just by randomly jumping somewhere. Game has so many like random crevices to dig through. I really wish there was a pure JavaScript version of the Twitch library, though. Because I don't want to have to write the shit myself. I don't want to have to write and then keep maintaining, like, okay, they switch from V, like, they had V3 to V5 to Helix, and, like, there will be more shit that I have to learn for the Twitch library, and I'd just love something I can just update from time to time. I'm more interested in maintaining the code that receives the events to drive my notifications more so than the code that processes the events. The processes the data from Twitch and makes it into an event I can use. That was kind of a hard decision for me to make when I was younger. I wanted to do everything myself. I didn't want to use any libraries at all. And that is just a simple waste of time. Because you don't have infinite time and energy, so you might as well use somebody else's time and energy and just hope that they're good enough to have done the work well. This looks new. That's something I want to do, Randolph, at some point. I actually want to write... I need to learn how to use Git, because when I have time, I want to make an update to OBS. I want to make it to where you can use a browser source. This seems really like I was looking at the code for OBS. Like I just downloaded it. I didn't like fork or sync or whatever you call it for Git. I didn't like sync the library or the code that they have. I just downloaded it flat out. Like this isn't a zip. But the code running how sources work and how custom transitions work in OBS didn't look super complex. So I wanted to basically make something that would allow you to have, instead of just a video as your source for a transition, I wanted to use a browser source instead. And if I knew how to use Git, then I would also try to contribute that back to the community so that OBS would have a new feature, and that would be fun. It'd be nice to contribute. But I never learned Git, and I ran out of time 3 or 4 weekends ago. You know what? Okay. I ran out of time 3 or 4 weeks ago, not this one. I was going to spend a weekend digging through OBS's code, and I ended up getting sidetracked doing something else. Well, no, it wasn't that I was trying to, that's what it was. It wasn't that the code, it's not that I was stuck on the code. It was more so that I wanted to get set up to build, and I needed to spend time getting that. They had documentation for how to set it up in Visual Studio, as long as you had 2019 or above. And I sort of just ran out of time. I think Git's probably not especially complex. It's just I would rather somebody hand-hold me through it rather than spending the time to just read and figure it out. That's the concession I'm making. I have an idea. Hold on. I'm either going to end the game or I'm going to do something new. Let's find out. Do they have like a quick start guide of basically like, if you don't want to do a lot of reading, like if you've used Perforce and SVN and CVS before, then here's the work required to start up with Git. That's what I want. Like, install this, enter this, these are why these credentials are needed, here's where you find your shit. If there's a visual client, then here's what you use. Otherwise, here's the most useful commands. And what path do I need to set up if I'm doing it by command line? Like, just something simple. Is it better to do it via like a VS Code plugin or something? I don't know. Just, does Visual Studio have good Git support, and how does that work? This is probably going to end the game again. I'm going to do it, but it's probably going to end the game again. Killed one demiurge. Yeah. Yeah, I broke it. Fine. Alright. Shush. So that having killed the demiurge did not... There could potentially be 12 of these things, or 11 more. Who has time to read that text? Yeah, junk collector, like whatever. The last couple times that I've had to format and reinstall my workstation or switch to a new workstation and dump the old one, where I work now, it's a process. Like, just like setting up Visual Studio takes time. Setting up our tools to grab data from the game and multiple, or the way we retrieve builds. is work. pt4 setup is work. Alright, let's pick an area and go. Is GitHub Desktop good? Or is it just like a jank tool that people who don't know what they're doing use? But it sucks. I'm gonna give this area another shot. Little jank, unless you're doing really fancy stuff. Is it better to just learn a few simple commands for working with Git? That seems to be the big thing. Everyone seems to like console commands for Git. I could backstab to start. Oh, different button. Guess I'll keep that in mind then. Wow, they totally lose you. This is not like fog ring. This is like complete invisibility. One thing you really liked about Rust was Cargo the package manager. I never had any real experience with Rust or Go or I've seen the jokes about Ruby on Rails where it's like one line to do a lot of stuff. You don't really know if it's super safe or how well it runs, or you can't change it, but one line to do a lot of stuff. All I know about Ruby is memes. Hierarch's mask. You can backstab mid-combo. Oh, can I not swing? Now I can. I just couldn't. I somehow got stuck. Oh man, I've seen many of these. I don't know what they do. And trying to jump into them is a bad idea. I've heard that Go is really, really difficult to work with, but it's very, 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 very fast. And very good at being multi-threaded. That's all I know about it. I know people who use Go. I should probably... If I had any time and didn't think that they're weirded out by my existence, I would ask them about what they thought about Go. And I can even see what I need to interact with in order to get this gate down. But I don't know how to get there. Alright, Randolph. I'll probably end up checking it out tomorrow, and most likely either at lunch or after work. Oh, they expect you to be able to get up there too. Ah, you killed me. All of these dangling threads. Yeah, like, it seems like I should be able to get there via... here, but how do I get over there? I don't even know if I can use this, or I probably can't use it here. I know for sure that I cannot take it off my heart bar. Yeah, no hot bar. Yeah, and like, the way that you get in is on the other side because I can't get in. Can't. Unless you can like jank open it or something. Nah. I have to get over there, and I don't know where that... I don't even... The world of this game is so big that getting over here could be from anywhere. I wonder if the map works in this area. No. I've only received one map so far. I should refer back to the map that they gave me in that one area and see if there's anything that I can make, any info that I can get out of that. Maybe that's the key. Maybe there is some more information that I've not referred to. Yeah, the game is so seemingly non-linear that it would help a bunch to have a map. This area is the only one with a map. Alright, what do we got? Okay. So you know, I might have a bigger beat on this than I thought. I think I did Citra before. I don't know if I did random maths yet. I may have, actually. That might have been the one over there. Yeah, it's probably literally that one. Wait a second. If that's... Hold on. If I go over there and the map is that big, then I'm vastly underestimating the size of this space. Oh no, I think it actually is this big. Nope. Gotta try not to use the boost because it makes so much noise. I might have to get up here though. Yeah, it starts angling me down. Yeah, okay. Is this backwards? No, it's not. I'm trying to get up there, I think. Quit shooting at me. Here, this is what I wanted to do. And then... probably Destiny. You're probably thinking of Destiny. Yeah, that Skyrim effect. It doesn't want me to get up there, but I can Skyrim up there if I need to. Oh no. Just need to crank up a teensy bit more and I'll get up. Like, just need to get to the top and then double jump. Close. I'm gonna try to go around or something. I've ruined it. I've totally ruined it. All I want to do is cheat. No, they didn't disintegrate. They disintegrated the board, not me. I think. Yeah. This is an area you're supposed to be able to go to with one of the bosses, and I'm gotta get up to that area and see if some of your dashing as you jump off of the board kind of makes you look like you disintegrate. On the map now, if this says, "Oh my God, this map is gigantic." Damn it! Oh no, because this is one of the cardinal sanctuaries or whatever they're called. Cardinal Nexus, right? And there's a few of these. Oh, there's a chest. Hey, ooh. All the good stuff. Yeah, so in that case, everything on this map that you can see is literally actually world. That's a scary thought. It's so big. Well, I can get onto the bridge and get an item. Yeah, hey, quite. I guess you saw the video. I have actually a few more clips I could probably have added to that. I've got to like make a list and wait until I get to like 15 and then make another video. I'm glad people are watching it. I felt like it might have been too short or too awkward to post. Especially like my post commentary is a struggle. I hate doing post commentary. I need to learn how to do it better. I need to not be so stage fright. Yeah, I barely made any distance at all. All the shit in the background is not just background. This is the world. I'm not fighting these dudes. No, no. Oh, I want a chest, but I'm not fighting these dudes. Yeah. Wow. Doing a browse around a bit, though. Ooh, those are the Praetorian looking... Well, I don't know. That's a bit of a question. The similar looking weapon... One was more scythy, but... Wonder if the Wanderer or whatever, or not the Wanderer, the Stranger or whatever show up. Watch a bunch of Kenshi and other stuff. I have so much more Kenshi footage to edit. I'm probably only like the first so many percent into it, but then I started having all these good moments to chop out. One thing I've kind of resigned to is that nobody's stream voice and YouTube voice are the same. Some people are their YouTube voice is better, or at least better than mine relative to my Twitch one. But everybody's different. Like you watch Maximilian, for example. You even watch a good example would be Bafale doing Street Fighter videos. You watch stuff that he's definitively clipped out of a stream, and you watch him do like at a glance videos for each of the characters for season 5 of Street Fighter 5. And where are we? And it's very clear that like there is a significant difference. With Kenshi, I've tried to keep the narrative 100%. Like the only thing, like everything that was relevant to the whoa. Oh, you're a jumper. It's another Praetorian. Yeah, it's out in the field. Similar amount of HP. It's different weapons and stuff, though. Ooh, okay, some of the same attacks, though. It's a shame I haven't figured out how to parry these guys. I don't seem to have the timing down. I mean, they're easy enough to fight, but... yeah. Parrying them would, I feel like, would be kind of cool. Realizing everyone's got pointy feet. Yeah, it's dirty feet. Spiky feet. I like how the captions plugin is just totally dead right now. It doesn't know what to do. I have the key for this? I wish they would tell me what the key was, like which key it was. Like, a lot of other games will say, like, use such and such. This game doesn't do that. Let's realize the engine or whatever. The gameplay, yeah. The gameplay Souls like, ooh, who are you? Oh, it's you again. I can't remember what your name was, but this is the dude who makes weapons. You made it this far. Not bad. Well, what do you mean their newest game? This is not FromSoft's newest game. This is, I believe, the first game by Redlock Studios. I think it's their first. I could be wrong. Or a piece of you, at the very least. You changed. The world's edges disintegrate less in your presence. Usually, moving forward would equate to walking in a fog while barely making out of the ruins. At first, I thought you were like me, connected to this universe by some point of entry. By some point of entry somewhere. Later, but I doubt it now. Did you think this was a FromSoft game? I've seen the future, you know. It's better off without us. I'm not spending on oafs. And there's yeah, it's all sigils and shit. And then some life fragments, which I kind of want for so cheap. They're downright reasonable with the prices of this stuff. Fragment. I'm not selling you Ibon fragments. I can use those. Get your own. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. I had stumbled into a morning meeting at work, like, you know, obviously VidCon. Um, and it was a meeting to greet some people who have a more distant connection to the studio that I currently work with. They're not directly in that studio. And the moment I stepped into the meeting, they asked me to introduce myself, and that's freaking awkward when you were literally like your eyes barely function. You've just gotten out of bed. I mean, luckily it was like I was just voice only, but um, I didn't have to get stared at. But I hate introductions in the morning. Like, give me 4 hours of consciousness plus before I have to answer to anybody. Let me just have my lizard brain and let me process emails and make plans for the rest of the day and work on the shit that I left the previous day, and then nothing new can come into play until like post noon. I guess I should get off of this thing and take, use my own 2 feet and see if there's anything I can get to up here. You work independently, so you push all your meetings for good too. Yeah. Like, there is no benefit to having early ass meetings. Like, there's nothing so important that you need to kick it off. You need to have a kickoff or a meeting in the very beginning of the day. And if you have anything that's like that, this kind of looks like I'm entering somebody's fortress. Oh, hello. Stop shooting. Ooh, this is a new area. I mean, it has to be because I'm already... it's absolutely a new area, but... a new biome, I guess. Oh my god, they're everywhere. This kind of reminds me of... Yeah, water. You've seen some of that before. Yeah. Alright, yeah. Sentient Hatronite. Oh, this must be the top tier stuff. Because all your... oh no. Well, that's a thing I did. That's a thing that exists. There's actually a bunch of that. Yeah. Alright, I gotta be careful now. One wrong step, and there will be no ground for me. Working on stuff like this makes me weary of working on open world games because the bigger the environments are, the easier it is to miss stuff. Especially because you're rarely working ground level to evaluate like collision and placement and stuff. So a lot of what you'll see is like floating trees and stuff with collision that doesn't work. Like, that's not unique to this game. In fact, gigantic amounts of big AAA games have that sort of stuff, like random rocks floating, trees floating, collision doesn't work, whatever. Untextured stuff, texture seams. I mean, I fixed that in games. Yeah, I would rather games switch to being like Yakuza scale. Like small segments, small little areas. Don't worry about spreading your gameplay across 10,000 kilometers or whatever. What a shame. I would feel prouder if not surrounded by the corpses of my brothers in arms, or if we had drawn even a single drop of blood from our enemies. It was a second ago, and yet I'm already confused about it all. I have been waiting amongst the dead for years. So sudden, could not do anything. My weapon flung far from me. Their swipes swifter than thunder. Swifter than thunder. Well, all gone. Their eyes turned toward me. Blood on my clothes. This should not be the purpose of a memoriam. This should not be the purpose of a memoriam. I might at least be able to claim that my special training allows me to bring this to those who will come next, if they ever do. The only purpose of this breath I have been given might be to bring knowledge to the next ones. Never forget. They went mad and tore our stars to shreds. They renounced our gods. Hypnos, forgive me. This should not be the purpose of a memoriam. Ayud and Akron. I believe that's one of the surrounding... there's two different castes or significant tiers of character that are part of the elite, the sort of there's a circle, and then there is a decahedron, and I believe the decahedron had a few different classes of characters, and one might have been Akron's, and I'm still getting familiar with that. What is this all about? Could never make a giant open game with complicated jump. Nobody wants to do that as a single person. Nobody. I don't think this game was made by a single person, for sure. Or even, I don't think the world was made by a single person. They mentioned fog and stuff. This is real bad. This seems like a boss fight. The stranger's going to be here. Just watch. Just you watch. The music will kick up in just a minute. Can I pick this up? Yeah, this is I believe the battlefield where two factions of your character's race had fought. I believe, I'm pretty sure. Hey, you're a quick one. Well, but this isn't the fight that led to well, that's interesting. It cleared up now that I'm... Well, that dude said that. That dude said that my appearance clears the fog a bit. Or no, never mind. It's just this particular spot. Well, I don't know if I consider that to be blood. Oh, never mind. Yeah. There's red walls, but then there's blood. You're right. I was looking like this. Missing all of it. Wonder. We meet in quite the sinister place. Oh, what I was going to say before. I don't think this fight was against the demiurges. I think this fight was a civil war for your characters. Potentially before the demiurge showed up or right afterwards. I remember this battle. Its memory is like ice in my veins. I won't be pleasant company here. I apologize. Do you think it is ever worth sacrificing one life, people, or world to protect one's ideals? I can't answer. It's too vague of a question. I'll shake your head if I don't understand and let him figure out what that means. Maybe you'll manage to protect what's dear to you, even if it means enduring the bitterness of lost passions. Pay attention to what the other asters say if you meet them. Investigate the holes in their stories, explore the shadows, help them remember. One last thing. I've seen the creature that accompanies you from afar. I do not know what it is, but it seems to be hiding from me. I'd be careful if I were you. It carries a disconcerting aura. You have something new, do you? Oh no, you have nothing special. Get out of here. Your items are garbage. I don't want to. Oof. I'm not spending that much money for something I'm probably not going to put to use. So the dude on my back, obviously, I think when I get close to this dude on my back goes away. Or when I talk, he goes away. Or whatever. Yeah, anyways. The dude on my back is a messenger for the king. And I believe he's one of the... I think the term is that he's one of the whisperers. Ah, it is you. It is totally you. Yeah, you're little shit. Oh, you're way stronger. I did nothing to you. Crap. Oh, you've got a new attack? Doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's new. Not parrying well today. Probably gonna die here. Ah, I missed the parry. It's like 4 times in a row. Ah, that one always... he always leads with that attack. Yeah, it leads in both directions too. It's not like you can go go to the side. Here we go. I need to get a lot of parries very quickly. I don't dodge that very well because I'm thinking it's a regular attack. Ugh. Gotta mash him down a bit. Oh. Need to get that parry in. Luckily, the mashing works pretty okay here. Staying away from him seems to be a bad idea. Oh, please, please stop. Oh no! I keep forgetting that's the big one that he does lead with. It's fine. I should be able to get there quick enough. I'll be fine. Got a, I have a, well, now that I generally know where I want to go, traveling there should be quick, but I missed, like, every save on the way. I keep getting so caught up on trying to parry and not realizing that you generally can stagger enemies a lot easier than you would think. So, like, mashing works. Parrying does do a lot of damage too, but and like makes it easier to mash, but you're not dependent on it. One thing I'm noticing is this game is really, really, really aggressive when it comes to LOD. Like, I think they had to make a decision at one point to do as much as they can to get the performance up, especially in these types of areas. Oh, you have something to say, do you? What's up? Where do I have to be to talk to you? Oh, here. Careful. I'll write you out of my will if you can't recognize him. I see. Even now, amidst the iridescent shores and whispers of Ivan, there's a name that echoes forever. A soft litany filled with dignity, reminiscent of an age of perfect order when daylight never faded. The name of the king? A vision of the past, but one etched forever into the roots of the world and the errant souls that travel it. The age of Yantra, the chosen one. Hypnos's greatest herald. Cold and silent, he was considered an ideal of uprightness and perfection. He was an unrivaled force that turned chaos into order and repelled darkness many times over. He inspired philosophers, poets, and warriors. He carried the will of the king. He was his greatest champion and his favorite son. He led the Yantarian order and repelled the swarms from elsewhere. Okay, so elsewhere in that case, then, might actually have been where the demiurges came from. Hunted down abyssal beasts, challenged ancient demons alone, and is said to have banished the outsiders out of time. Or outsiders, who knows? Yantra was thus revered a long time ago. No one knows of his ultimate fate. Maybe he died facing the demiurges. Maybe he could not bear the disappearance of his god and killed himself in despair. Truth has been long lost. But believe me, the echoes of such greatness can never truly fade away. So are you saying I'm supposed to be the reincarnation of Yantra? Or maybe you carry their will? I like how I made a... you again? You're getting skipped. Yeah. Oh, gotta be careful not falling off of that ledge. Oh, are you jumping at me? I hope you can't jump that far. What was I gonna say? Ooh, ah. Is this usable? Does this work? Nope. This isn't. This is a way. This is the other side of a shortcut. I wonder if your character might be Yantra. There's where I need to go. There's like a fortress up here. Go and find my stranger. Now that I remember the fight a bit better, I should be fine. Also, I have full mana, so I could do damage on the way in. You were invulnerable. Get out of here. I want more of those spells that this guy's got. Oh, maybe the Wanderer is Yantra, and Yantra is basically trying to figure out if you're worthy. That would be more of a regular kind of plot. Guess I could just dodge into it. Crap. Don't even know what that ability is. Oh no, you have your own parry. That's what that was. Yeah, bad guys are not allowed to parry, they're not allowed to heal. Gotta stop taking hits. That's the same charge attack that I've got. Crap, now I have to... At least the game pauses while I'm trying to heal. Too early. Yeah, they had the same charge attack that I've got. Oh, your stuff automatically leads too. That's built into your spells. Your spells will automatically lead a target if they're moving the same way. Oh, I just finished dying. There. Yeah. Get magic to death. Another essence to use. This is more than just like blood looking stuff. Yeah, chip victory. Yeah, that was absolutely super on a super chip kill for Street Fighter 5. It's funny how much lacking a name can disincarnate you. You can believe I have done all I could do to retain mine, by all means. You ignore what's true. Authentic solitude is locked inside your own mind, after time has swallowed the boundaries of your body, old age and oblivion. Oh, you ignore what true, authentic solitude is. Sorry, this like some of the way that a lot of the what he says is structured is tripping my brain. Locked inside your own mind after time has swallowed the boundaries of your body, old age and oblivion. Murdered is a harsh word when they attacked you. Well, maybe you're being trained and you don't get it, and it's murdered because you keep killing, and they keep reincarnating over and over again. Maybe this is that chosen one that keeps trying to test me. That's why they have all the better versions of everything I've got. I speak. I know. I speak. I theorize. I soliloquize, potentially without a goal or an actual through line. It is not a speech, but the greedy and gluttonous breathing of a drowning resurfacing from the abyss. The name, an assembly of letters, symbols, and glyphs, better than the sum of its parts. A drawing in its own right, stubborn, holding in nothingness the entirety of our being. How can one word summarize it being, with their memories and eventualities, and the weird complexity of the countless thoughts they experience from their first cry to their very last one? Yak, remember that word. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that right. It is all I've ever been, and it will be all that remains. Ooh. You, on the other hand, you're still Shuvga. I wonder if that actually is your character's name, or if that's just some confusion, or the, like, obfuscated remnants of your character's name. Shuvga. There's no way I'm gonna get that right. I don't even know if that's localized right. I would have preferred not being forced to trudge forever through this forgotten and devastated landscape, but there is no other way. Give me a save point, man. I don't know how real that is in the modern age, but I've heard that the Unreal Engine is not great in large landscapes and stuff. Like larger environments supposedly aren't super great with it. And I wonder if that's still the case. Now, bear in mind, a lot of what I've heard about Unreal is like more than 10 years out of date. But the reason why I'm thinking about it is because it was this game, as far as I remember, is built in Unreal, and I wonder if some of the performance, some of the chugging that I get, is just because it's. I wonder how much of it is engine limitations and other stuff that's easier for them to optimize. Well, yeah, you hit a certain level of detail, and the hardware doesn't. It can't keep pace. Like, I don't remember which Unreal Tournament it was. I think it was Unreal. Didn't Unreal at one point have like large open environments in one of the Unreal Tournament games? 2K4 or something had Radiant Ether Fragment. Everything with gold borders makes me wonder if I'm getting big stuff. One of them had really big maps, I think. I think it was Unreal. And vehicles. And it wasn't Tribes, because Tribes is amazing, but that wasn't Unreal. I don't think Tribes is Unreal. I might be misremembering this. I think Tribes is its own thing. Oh, you were thinking of Tribes? Well, there you go. It does kind of feel like it might have been like an early Unreal game. It just has that feel. Like it feels like an Unreal game, but different. It's got those notes. I mean, it's almost kind of disingenuous anyways, because like the aesthetics really kind of have almost nothing to do with the engine. It just feels like games that happen to have been on Unreal. Oh no. And really, like, how a game looks is entirely its art style, especially nowadays. Just like the forest is Unity, but so is Ori in the Blind Forest. And as such, it's like you can't really say, like, the engine doesn't really mean anything in terms of the engine's really just about like what pre-exists that you want to use, and is the toolkit and whatever libraries they provide, or any AP, like anything they provide as part of the engine. Like, is it something that you want to use? Do you want to write stuff in C++? Do you want to write stuff in Unreal Script or whatever their new thing is? Do you want to use GML? Do you want to use Godot's Python-like language? I'm so struggling to figure out how to get up here. I guess just more burden my spiky feet. Yeah, I was already here. Okay. Oh, geez, it's like 1 o'clock, too? What am I doing? I should find a save point, or I should be ready to port back. I don't know if I should go up or down at this point. Like, where would be an entrance to where I want to be? I keep coming up these stairs thinking it's something big, and then losing my way. Oh my god, this is a maze, yeah. Is that why Yaak didn't want to be here? Because they're equally as confused as I am as to how to get in. This looks more promising. Oh, hello. The sky is changing. But not with a shift in winds or the cycle of days. The stars have moved and the ground under your feet has changed components. Several places have merged, like time in that primitive village we walked through. Distant stars, fragments from the wide Aster territory, in a place they should not be. There are other worlds between the solar eye and the farthest borders of the kingdom at the edges of the void. Rock or burning gas orbs orbited by even thinner ones. Once home to the cities and bastions rising amidst dry lands, transformed like the earth. This sight might be disturbing, yet we're not to let ourselves drown in melancholy or in the torpor of passive contemplation. The demiurges laying waste to this area are more hideous and powerful than the one we have already vanquished. Who you vanquished? I was in the front row, and I consider my participation to be at least half the same as yours, yeah. And I dare say this combat would have been much less exciting if not for my signature grandiloquence. If my calculations are even half right, I think we can say I vanquished them. Now, I expect you to truly pull your weight, since I did all the work with the first one. Slacker. Hey, you know what? Next time I can abandon you, if it ever becomes a thing. I'm gonna take that next fragment of generator thing. Heroic essence. Stable data. Use of the codex recommended. Essence of a renowned soul? Probably renowned. Use of the codex recommended. I don't remember if I had a codex. Hold on. Of recovery. Stamina recovery. To Kotar. Oh my god. All of that travel got me only over there, not even to like Devish. Giant map. Ugh, my neck is killing me. I need better posture. I gotta sip it. Look at me. Look at this. So remember how like the last area was like, oh, this is so big, and then I'm like, the area before that, oh man, that was pretty big. You're like, and then I get to another one, and I'm like, man, oh geez, wow, this is amazing. This is cool. Wait, are we in like outer space or something? It's like a port. It's like a spaceport. Suddenly spaceship. And like the size, the sense of scale, the way, the speed at which things move. I mean, this is probably not as big as it looks, although it kind of does look like it's that big, just because as I move, this is definitely being rendered in 3D, so it's probably that big and that far away, but man, the speed at which it moves really sells it. But anyways, these areas, there's so many big, giant, massively enormous areas in this game. And I keep thinking, like, oh, surely nothing is going to continue to be this big, because like the previous areas were tutorial or hub world or something, but then you have another giant area to go through. Like, to some degree, if it was like Mortal Shell and your movement speed was slower and there's way more enemies, and if they didn't have so many giant impressive things to look at, then I would have said the areas are too big for how empty they are. But this game is making it work. I mean, it's still a little sparse. Some of the areas are a little bit sparse. But like they're working the size of these environments very well overall. Yeah, they don't block magic at all. Ooh, if I'm getting refined hadronite in reasonable quantities, then I should go back to the I should go back and upgrade. I can do at least one more upgrade already. And realistically, I should activate this portal, because if I don't, then I'm going to forget about it and I'll be screwed. What's going to end up happening is, like, rather than going back to a limbo well, like one of these things, what I'll end up doing instead is porting back to the heart of limbo or whatever, and then just miss this and not be able to port back. And that would be sad. Plus, I've got a ton of essence right now and I haven't spent it. And that's a crime. This is a game where I definitely want to make sure that I don't make anything too hard for me, just because... You're back! Okay, perfect, excellent, that's good to know. I think the combat works, but I don't think it's special enough for me to want to be struggling with difficulty. I want to be able to crush bosses. I still want to see like their cool attacks and listen to their music, but I don't want to be stuck for hours on a boss. I want to make sure that I can do some very big damage. So this character, well, I'm looking to see if the wisps are going from me to them. This character is like a Tesla lamp or whatever you call those things. Or no. What were they called? Plasma ball. Plasma ball. Yeah. It really looks like it's going towards me. I think it's just swirling around the character. Anyways, I don't even know if you can see that. It's really subtle. The Wanderer's gaze pierces through your mask. She gives off a mysterious and powerful aura. Oh, then the Wanderer is that character. The one who is the greatest warrior under the king. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, no. That's narration. That's the Wanderer's gaze who's piercing at me. Never mind. I'm just reading this entirely. She's just speaking in the third person. Weirdo. But yeah, the reason why I wanted to see Relia is because the stolen essence that I'm getting from the stranger is going to give me spells, and they've been cooler and cooler the further I go. She nods humbly, thanking you. Once more, strange sparks spring from her hands. Void Cross. Hey, there we go. They chase each other and always find themselves. The Dark Wanderer knows the answers, and the answers will be his when the other is dead. He hears him coming before reality falls once more into dark tatters that wither between worlds. This time. A violent energy projection that transcends the planes. Non-identified energy source. We can talk. I have more of these. Help me out. Don't you dare go away. Let me talk to you again. Oh, come on. I've got like 3 or 4 stolen essences. Give me a break. Ooh, interesting. So yeah, this is literally... Yeah, that's one of the spells that the stranger uses. I seem to always be behind the stranger. What a bummer. She won't let me get more stuff. You know, I should grab that heart again, despite you. I can afford it. Oh, is this where I need the other type of Hadronite? Oh, now I can't afford it. Good upgrade, though. Or, can I upgrade the Crucible as well? I can upgrade weapons to 8. Yeah. Oh, I broke the UI again. Hold on. It's because I'm mashing. I didn't rest at a limbo well, so I don't know where this is going to put me, or if I can get back. Oh, this is fine. Next to... Oh, wait a second. I missed that earlier. Next to find there's multiple maps once I get my own spaceship? If only. Or, well, actually, that's a good point. Do you mean multiple giant worlds to play on? Or do you mean actually maps that I can read and figure out where I'm supposed to go? Because the latter would be real nice. The former would be a terrifying proposition. Hey! No, 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 take my... Oh, I hate you. Yeah, I can talk to her again, I just can't do anything. I'm missing something. I don't really know anymore. Remind me what you wanted? Hey, Tony. It's been 3.5 hours. I'm missing... Yeah, I don't have anything to do any upgrades with. Yeah, I need to update my bot to grab, like, better channel info. I just have not written it yet. You're always late. Well, I mean, I stream at a pretty... Well, two things. I stream at a somewhat consistent schedule overall. And I tend to be late anyways for my own streams. So you could just guess... You could guess 8:30 p.m. Central and be maybe an hour early. You can just message me on Discord. Not enough people are hitting me up on Discord to where I'm overwhelmed by that. Sorry, Cody. Wish I could do a little better, but I'm bound to somewhere between my own temporal ineptitude and I need to be at work at least until a certain time of day. Mysticism is never doing me any favors, but I kind of want to keep going. If I could consistently wake up super early in the morning, then I would stream more. Not necessarily in the morning, I would just have all the after work shit done by then. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick glance at this new area, but I'm probably gonna have to call it. It is pretty late. I only really went so long because I started late, and I felt really bad about not getting very far. But I did fight one big boss, and I fought a stranger again, and I fought a small boss twice, or once and abandoned it, so... Oh, you heading back to sleep? Well, have a good night, Tony. You missed most of the actual combat in the game? It's Soulsy. It's like Souls-light. It's like Dark Souls 1 with mostly the same weapon. You know, it's basically a substrate for experiencing the world and not the main focus. Ah, yeah, no worries. Man, these spaceship things are cool as shit. I just like having weird shit in games. The fact that this game basically is doing, like... It's doing this weird sort of, like... You're not sure, like, what... If this is, like... kind of... fantasy, or... high-tech. Or, like, it's hard to get a feel for, like, the weird sort of, like, pseudo-mix of, like, abstracts and fantasy and tech and stuff. Like, it's kind of sort of, like, a good example would be Chozo technology from the Metroid games. This feels very much like Chozo tech. These are guns. These are all weapons. Yeah, this is all military stuff. Yeah. Hey again. Good thing you're here, friends. Do you have a minute for Bhakti to tell a story? I spend so much time alone that memories start flooding back. I have trouble understanding how I could forget some of the details, not to mention how I could forget this whole story in the first place. I also do not remember how far back it occurred, as the curving of time itself plays tricks on me. Keep going. Yes, sorry. Quite a long time ago, I think, someone questioned the Five's authority. And the King's, too. So the Five is like the next tier below the King. I think further up than the Decahedron, but and also above the Circle. This game, the lore of the story of this game is really difficult to follow. There's so much to absorb. There's so many random pieces, and some of it is so vague. Yantra, hey, you again. Yantra, who was once so close to our sovereign, rose against our masters. Interesting. He gathered all the Acheron's scientists and geneticists he could in order to gain enough strength and firepower to stand against our theocracy. So the Acheron, Sentius, and the Genesis, I believe, were part of the Decahedron, I think, which basically would be, I think, one below the Five. He led the first rebellion in our history, and I joined him. Yes, friend. Before selling wares to wanderers, I used to be a renowned researcher, I think. Nevertheless, I know I made some great strides forward in the domain of physiological mutations while I stood with the rebellion. I would improve the group's soldiers to give them a chance against the Praetorian Guard. Yeah, I fought two of them so far. One was basically a boss, and the other one was like an open world to counter. I remember the anger, but not the cause. Friend, what were we fighting for? How could I forget? We had a name. Would you give me a moment? I must think. But don't worry. I will remain somewhere along your path. Can I buy stuff, though? Oh, no, I can't. Okay, that's fine. So Yantra was not only one viewed to be very close to the king, the greatest, basically the Aster's greatest warrior, and in high regard to the king, and they turned against the king, interestingly enough. I wonder if relative to anybody else I'm understanding the story better or worse. Probably way worse. Especially since I'm not much of a note-taker. But I'm like intrigued. Can I go forward anywhere? Like the world of the lore of this game, I want to know, and I want to finish the game before I start digging for wikis and stuff. I don't think I'm meant to find... I don't think I'm meant to get... I think this is just meant to be... You know, I don't know. It's strange that there's another save point here when there's one, like, really close outside. Oh... Sorry, Tony. Like, I'm looking at my audio and I'm getting to, like, -5, so... I shouldn't be super low. Well, I mean, if it was canon before we fixed his audio shit, then you'd be able to blame me because Canon's audio was so low that any ad was really, really loud. But my volume should be pretty close to the ad itself, even though the ad's maximized. Because I'm passing close to +0. Unless the ads don't use Twitch's volume sliders. Oh, jeez. Ooh, one of them looks really angry. He's got a lot of HP as well. I'm doing way more with my sword than I am with my spells. These upgrades are paying off. AirPods on a non-Apple device do stupid stuff with audio. Weird. I wonder if they have basically sort of a default setting for how they do things, like maybe they do some manner of audio volume adjustment, like how Franker Faces, whatever you say, their plugin has a compressor for Twitch. I know some wireless headphones that I have as well. Some of my wireless headphones do, if you make a sudden noise, the volume goes to nothing. Like, it tries to prevent you from going deaf. But it does it in a really obnoxious way. I can't use those wireless headphones for streams because anytime I speak, the volume goes to nothing. Basically, you can't listen to your mixer while you do it. I think it's trying to prevent feedback or something, I don't know. Here we go. Yeah, this is a hub, and these are all shortcuts, and that's what I've been looking for. I've been looking to activate these elevators. Alright, well it is about 1:30, so let's go ahead. Let's cut our losses. I got to a new area, fought a couple bosses. I think I'm doing pretty well. I've learned some significant story stuff. But it's kind of late.